Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Ugly Melodies podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cordova, alongside me with Dave Edwards. Today, we got two awesome metalheads from San Antonio, fucking badass motherfuckers. We have Bryan Eckermann and Gregory and Joe Gregory from Mythologik. Guys, what's up?
Fuck
What's
yeah. Actually, one from San Antonio, one from McKinney.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, technically Joe's from San Antonio, I think, or been here, but he's not currently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So technically, I was born in San Antonio. I just never lived there.
It's your time now to come back.
Yeah.
I've never left.
I've left a couple times, but I always came back.
Yeah. We got to convince Joe to come back at some point.
So we can, might be.
Dude, hell yeah. Well, let's get ugly, guys.
Hell yeah. Guys, first, I'd like to say the singles y'all dropped, Lord Death and Scorched Earth, were fucking bangers. That's fucking killer shit, dude. I love what y'all are doing with it.
Thanks, dude. Yeah,
Sure.
we're real excited about the new stuff. And those two songs especially are some of my favorites we've done so far. They're just like, they got some fucking nasty riffs and some great vocals from Joe. We still have one new single on the horizon before the album comes out in like a week and a half or so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. But yeah, Joe, your fucking vocals, dude, fucking sick, dude. When I first started hearing it, I was like, oh fuck, man, it's fucking sick, dude. And Bryan, he always fucking brings it, dude. I was just like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm an old guy, so I just sit on my nuts, and that's usually where I get the highs from. So.
That's a good tip.
You're not old.
I'm gonna start doing that now.
He has to sing sitting down, so he's actively squishing his nuts at the same time.
Exactly.
Man, you must be packing then, dude. Holy shit.
He takes over.
Hell yeah. I gotta say right now, Scorched Earth is probably my favorite one right now.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite on the album. It's just so perfectly short and to the point and just heavy. You know, there's some others that are more drawn out, like some of my solo stuff that were just, very epic and dramatic. But that one was the first song I wrote for Mythologik specifically, because we used a lot of songs I had sitting around for my solo stuff that just was incomplete, and I had too many songs, so I just started handing them off to Joe and being like, just do whatever. But Scorched Earth was the first one where I already knew what we sounded like, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a song for this project, and that was the one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, hell yeah. And Bryan, man, I've known you 10 years now. How we met?
Shoot, maybe, I want to say maybe even longer, maybe like 11, 12. No, I don't know.
I think it might have been it might have been 11 years, because I met you when you were working at the gas station at Star Stop, and we were working right behind you. You and me were work neighbors.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what year it was because I worked at that store for, I think, a year and a half before the big boss started transferring us everywhere because somebody was stealing shit. And it turns out
I think I know who that was.
It was the graveyard guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, even my wife worked at that store with us for a bit, and they pinned it on her and fired her because she made a lottery mistake. So they were just like, oh, somebody's got to go. And so they fired her, which was bullshit.
Yeah.
And it still didn't stop. So they transferred my manager, transferred me somewhere else, and the other dude somewhere else. And then my manager ended up putting up a big old fight and got me back to his new store. So I did like a little bit of musical chairs through different stores there for a couple months after I left that.
It's complete dog shit still now. Like, the store fucking sucks. Like, I will literally take my car and drive to either Circle K or that other shitty 7-Eleven that's right there on the other side of 35. Then go to that fucking piece of shit establishment.
I thought you were just saying I would drive my car through that gas station. I was like, you shouldn't say
I probably would too. I probably would.
Dude, so many gas stations are just run to shit by the owners, the managers. Like the one I ended up, the last Star Stop I was at was on Calabria. And I worked there for a few years, like 3 or 4 years, because my boss was awesome. But it was literally like the boss, me, and one other guy. And that's it. Like running an entire store. And it's like, you can't call in because you're literally making the other dude have to work a double shift or something of that sorts. And it was just like, I mean, I don't know how we held it together as long as we did. And I know I still talk to my boss from that one, and he was saying something about his mom died after I quit, and he needed like a leave of absence for like a couple weeks to take care of the funeral and all the legal stuff. And they literally like fired him over it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They were like, well, if you can't come to work, then we have to find somebody else.
Dude.
And then they ended up selling a bunch of those Star Stops to other people. I noticed. I think I've only seen one still around. So that family that owned them, they were called the Panjwanis or something. Man, they just ran it to shit.
Oh yeah, it's still like that. It still smells like shit in that store still. But yeah, I was gonna get to like, man, ever since I met you, you've put a lot on yourself, dude. From your solo projects, Wings of Abaddon, Scars of the Flesh, everything, man. You put a lot on your plate, and not that that's a bad thing, but you fucking tackle up some shit.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
got a lot of releases, man. I remember talking to you, and you had like one of your solo albums did really good, like in Colombia.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's the thing with my solo project is that I don't get, I would say I get like hardly any appreciation locally or in Texas. Like even our peers in the music industry around here, the local scene, they don't give a shit about what I do. They won't even listen to it. But it seems like all these people in these other countries love it, and they're the ones that stream it. And I mean, I guess if that's the way it's got to be, then it is. I don't know if people around here think I'm egotistical because I have a solo project. I don't know. I just need outlet, and I just like to write. So it's nothing about that. But yeah, it's at least kind of cool to have Scars of the Flesh be our kind of live band where we can still go do that and be a part of that.
Yeah.
But I do think just tons of people around here that I talk to on the daily don't ever actually like listen to my stuff.
You got a couple here that do.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I believe I want to say I found you on Facebook back in 2015, 2016, I believe, when I added you. And,
I remember.
I just dove into your stuff, and I think the first album I heard from you, from your discography, was Haunting at Helmbrook, and I just fell in love and realized it was just you. And a funny story, I don't think I ever told you about this. I think it was 2017 when Mythologik came with the Van Sevenfold, and I forgot that one band that won that raffle to go tour them.
Oh yeah,
H-Town, or not H-Town, whatever. And
I know who you're talking about. I can't.
Right, I just forgot about them, and like we got pit tickets, so we're up front hanging out, and it was right after Van Sevenfold, and just hanging out, chilling, and some dude pops up next to me, and for the love of God, I can't remember his name, and he was wearing your shirt. He was wearing he was wearing the Haunted at Helmbrook shirt. I was like, oh shit, like you know Bryan Eckermann? He's like, yeah, and he was just talking nothing but like bullshit about you, saying that he's seen you play live before, and like, he has all your CDs and shit. Like, dude, this guy's fucking cool, dude. Like, I really want to meet this dude. And then after that, like years later, well, last year we got to play our my first time playing with my band While They Bled in San Antonio, opening up Free Hall at Vibes Underground. So that's when I finally got to meet you, get to talk to you, and just like shoot the shit. And like I told you, like I told you, like like you were one of the reasons why I never stopped playing music and like playing guitar, because went through a dark period where I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna put the guitar on the side of the room, mess with it every now and then, and never not focus on writing and just have it there, and then start focusing on other stuff to better myself in life. And then remember messaging you, you're like, just don't stop, just keep going, like do little tips here and there. And you're the one of the main ones that messes back. I messaged like 3 other dudes that I knew that played, but they were just kind of like just posting videos on Facebook and Instagram of them playing a Pantera cover song or a Slayer cover song. And I was just like, man, like this guy's actually writing his own music and putting it out there. Like, fuck, I want to get to that level. I want to get to that next step. And so, and again, and I told you to thank you in person. And again, thanks again, man. You've always been an inspiration to me for writing and playing.
Dude, no problem, man. I remember chatting it up with you at the show. It was a fucking great show to play with you guys and to meet you in person. And I know I've been at those dark points in my life so many times. Like, my bandmates could attest to how many times I feel like I'm at that bottom of the pit and I don't know how I can keep going, but somehow I do. And like, even it still happens to me to this day. Like, I want to say last year I hit that point with Scars where I was just like so burnt out, and I do it to myself because, like Dave said, I put a lot on my plate. I put a lot on myself without any notion of what it does to me mentally or physically. And even Kobe's told me, he's like, Bryan, dude, you only got two settings. He's like, you got go, or I'm dead, burnt the fuck out, and I need to stop. So it kind of goes that way with me. Is like, once I get an idea in my head or I get a project to focus on, I do just go until it's done. And usually by the time it's done, maybe a little bit before, I'm completely dead, mentally burnt out. And then, there's some downtime of like trying to recharge. And sadly, some of the times I don't even recharge. I just start on something else and then my brain gets active again. But for some reason, when I'm in that zone of like inspiration, and once things start rolling, that's what gives me energy. That's what gives me life. And during the process is when I feel, the best, the most alive, the most active. It's when things start to hit the downtime that it's like the burnout hits,
Joe, you ever hit those points?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because like I said, I started singing for Valkyrie, 85, I think is when we put out our demo. And we started playing a lot of shows around the area. Dallas, Austin, about 86. And then by 87, 88, life kind of got in the way, and then not in the way, but you got to deal with like going to school, getting a job, feeding your family, stuff like that. So I quit music for 30 something years. Didn't, always a fan, always listened, but never played, participated, anything like that until just right before COVID. Scott, the guitarist for Valkyrie, decided like, hey, let's record a few songs just for shits and giggles, and let's just put an EP out and kind of go from there, see what happens. And started getting the momentum rolling and everything. And then right when we said, okay, cool, we got a full band, let's go start playing some live shows. Then COVID hits, and we're like, shit, and that shut us down real quick.
My first introduction to you
and
was
after
because
that, then Scott's he's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry. You kind of broke up there. Yeah, my first introduction to Valkyrie was through Rodney, my boss. For people who don't know, fuck that guy. But I'm just joking. Rodney, if you watch this,
poor Rodney.
I love you. But I get little brother status. All right, I've worked with him for a long time. I get to say this kind of shit to him. But thank you, Rodney. Yeah, Rodney showed me Rodney showed me a Valkyrie CD that he had at the shop. This is when Bryan was still working there. And I was listening, I'm like, oh, god damn, this shit's fucking good. And I remember taking it home. This is when iTunes was like, oh, download a CD and, it's all the information's right there. Put it right on my iPod back at the time. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then, like, just, I think maybe a year or two ago, we printed some more of your shirts. So,
Yeah.
I'm a fan. It's and then when Bryan told me last night, he's like, "Oh yeah, Joe used to sing for Valkyrie." I'm like, "Oh shit, what?" I was like, okay, so we've actually interacted and not actually interacted,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is fucking even more badass. I was like, I'm gonna fucking wear the goddamn shirt now.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, thank you, I appreciate it. But but like Bryan was saying, and then especially after COVID coming out and being isolated and working, a little bit of a dark spell. So I've always been a huge fan of Bryan's work. From Scars to the Soul, even to Wings. So I said, man, I'd love to sing with this guy. I said, hey, dude. I said, I know you have your genre that you excel in. I said, if you ever write a thrash song, I would be honored to sing on. He goes, huh? He goes, I tell you what. He goes, I'm working on some stuff. He goes, here, have fun with this. And it just kind of grew from there. We're like, oh, the way this sounds. And we just, we knocked out the EP in a matter of a couple months, and then we wrote the album. And I think in total of almost 6 months, we put out like 13 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we didn't stop from the time we started on the EP. We went straight through into the album without stopping. We just wanted to get a taste out there and get the name out there, get some promo, get some fans, and yeah, I mean, we finally have reached a bit of downtime when it comes to the writing, but only because we're pushing the album, and I'm doing a lot of I was doing the videos, the artworks, and all that stuff, and that takes a lot of mental effort and time that I can't do, like writing music and do all that. It's got to be like one or the other. So it's like and we also started writing a bit with Scars, and I want to say right after I finished the last song for the Mythologik album, I had started on writing a new solo album, which I finished all the music for that in just like 2 or 3 months. So it was straight from writing Blood in the Sky, Mythologik, to straight writing a new solo album next 3 months, to now writing a new Scars song. So that's just how it goes with me. Doing videos, artworks, and like I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I got too much on my plate. I got a little whiteboard here on the fridge over here to keep like some tasks at hand of like, because I'll get distracted and just start working on something that I'm not supposed to be working on. So now I have like a little priority list of things that need to get done right now.
Fuck, Bryan.
Your drive is fucking insane, dude.
That's just where the gray hairs they're starting to come in, and I'm gonna look just like Joe. We're gonna be fucking twins. So
there you go.
Exactly.
Those are wisdom points.
That's great. I like that one.
So guys, who's y'all's like main influences when it comes down to writing? I had a few questions while y'all were talking. Like questions popped up in my head while y'all were talking, and I just want to go over like y'all's influences from how the writing process goes, which I'm pretty sure Bryan just is a mad scientist at it, just going at it, and like the themes with the lyrics and all that stuff. Like, how's that come to fruition?
See, for the a poem that was pretty influential for me was Milton's Paradise Lost, because it's just a different viewpoint of everything I was raised on, Roman Catholic, about heaven, Lucifer, the fight, everything else. So when I read Paradise Lost, it was fascinating. So basically what Blood in the Sky is, it makes a lot of references to that poem, but it's a little more bloody and violent, so to speak. And it's nice because the album in total is the whole story, and each song is a chapter within it. So we it's not, it's a concept album to a certain extent, but not too overdone.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. I think that's a great way to look at it, especially from that phone. It's just like, we're all raised from like what our parents want us to become, and like, to give us the structure and like the lessons to live a good life and be successful with that. But then you get out in the world, you start seeing other people's and differences, and you start seeing, how they're raised and stuff like that too. So like, how do y'all think about that? I think it shapes people from how they're gonna be in their life. Are they gonna be just like true, like bounded by their faith, or are they gonna like, reach out and like go out and be their own person? Because like the same old like cliche, the holy roller, like they're just gonna fall in line and just be cordial and whatever. But then you have those who are gonna go against the grain, and I like people like that go against the grain and like, and ask questions, and like they want to see more than just like what they're told. They want to see beyond that window pane. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So I like that you said that. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was like, I can totally relate to that whole, how you're raised and everything. And then for me, it was like the complete opposite of how it should go. Is like church and religion and stuff was, in a sense, used to punish me when I did bad or whatever. I got suspended from school one time in middle school, and my punishment was to have to go to church for the next 3 months, this and that. And like, I'm just like, this isn't how it should be. This doesn't feel right, So for me, that was probably that significant moment in my life where I rebelled against it. But I've always strived to just be a good person, just have good values and treat people how I want to be treated. And I hadn't seen a lot of that from my religious experiences. So, but it is to each his own. Some people are raised and it's only good experiences out of that scenario. And I respect that. If that's something that is a positive thing in their life, then, more power to them for it. But for me, it was just like, I've always felt like I've been the only person that I can really fully rely on in my own life. And maybe that's how the solo project and that stuff came up, is that, sometimes even in bands I've been let down at points. And so sometimes I just have to do it all myself and, hold that weight on my own shoulders.
Yeah, I could totally agree with that too, Brian. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, my dad tried raising me as Christian, especially when I did fucking stupid shit. And I remember the first time I set foot in a church, I was really young. I must have been like 7 or 8. The whole vibe did not feel good to me at all. So it was just like, this probably isn't for me. And kind of what you said though, too, though, some people will like, they're raised on it, but they're more, it's a positive thing for them, and they're not a bad person at all. But like, from some of the experiences, especially even with like my dad, like he wasn't that wholly good Christian. Like, you learn real quick that like some people use it as a crutch to try to make themselves look like a good person. And that was always my problem with it, dude. It's just like, it's kind of like a big old corruption scheme in a way. It's like a pyramid scheme, but but using religion as a crutch to try to get rich or whatever. But I know it's not everybody, but religion was definitely never my thing. It never has been. That's why I'm like the black sheep of my family. A lot of them were just like, oh, you need to be a good Christian. No, you could be a good person. You don't need religion to be a good person. Like, if that's the case, then you're lacking empathy,
Yeah. I mean, some people, they use it for, like, I won't bash them if they're using it for like for good reasons. Like, if it's a good, like, what's the term I'm looking for? like if it's good guidance for them and like it's helping them be a better person without them force feeding it through other people, and it's just like getting them through life. And by all means, everybody has their crutch in life. For us, it's metal music.
Yeah, and metal music is such a positive therapy. Like there are some bad apples even in the music scene. I'm sure we've all witnessed some of them at shows, but for the most part, it's like one big giant family, and everybody is supportive of each other and cool with each other. Somebody falls, you pick them up, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, it comes with every facet in life that there's just going to be those bad apples that are ruining it for everybody. And I mean, in my religious experience, it was just all the bad apples and a whole bunch of negative that I saw, to where I was like, I don't want any part of this. I can handle it on my own.
Yep. Speaking about the scene, I was gonna ask y'all, well, you, Joe, if you see any differences from when you were making music in the '80s from now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, one of the main differences is the smartphone, because when we played, we had a lot more anticipation, as far as the mosh pits, slam dancing, stage diving, which made for, fun shows. Sometimes destructive, and then you'd lose you pay for the evening because you had to pay for the PA system that got blown out. But there's a lot of fun back then. Yeah. And nowadays it's just a smartphone, and sometimes I wish that crowds would just appreciate the moment and the experience they have, just to kind of take it all in instead of through the lens of a camera.
Speaking of that, so I know me and Dave last night were at In Flames in Austin, and I didn't pull out my phone other than to check the time once or twice. I'm not that kind of guy that likes to pull out my phone and film the shows and even take pictures. I maybe I should just once in a while, so I have that memory on Facebook. But for me, I just like to watch and see what's going on. And that's one reason why I don't like doing the moshing and all. I like to just see and observe and enjoy. So, but I'm also a little bit older, so
I'm a little guilty of doing that, but it's literally, I need like a minute at most for the clip. Sometimes I'll post it on the story on Instagram, and then that's it. Yeah. The rest of the night is mine. But most of the time it's for like, people who want to like see this a snippet of the show. It's like, okay, here's a minute. That's all you get. So, and then after that, the night's mine. The rest of the time, it's mine.
I think I mostly pull my phone out just to use the light to look for the guitar picks, and they throw them out. I'm guilty of that. Like, there's times where I would have it prepped before they finish. Like, I know this is the last song, and I have my light on my phone, and I feel the light burning my fucking leg. I was like, oh, fuck, hold on.
Wasn't it you, Dave, that was telling me about when they threw the pick and it landed in your pocket?
Holy shit.
No, that wasn't me. No, not in my pocket. There was one that landed in my shoe one time.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was somebody else was telling me that somebody threw a pick from the stage. Oh no, it was my buddy at work, Chris. We were talking about Yngwie Malmsteen at the White Rabbit back in 2004. And yeah, he's telling me a story because you know how Yngwie does the spinning the guitar and he throws the pick at the same time?
Yeah.
So he did that and he threw the pick straight into his pocket.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. That pick I told you that landed in my shoe. I didn't know about it until I got home and threw my shoes off. I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? And I'm like, oh, I guess I got a fucking pick.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, I didn't even feel it because at the time I was wearing those fat skate shoes. You know, the DVS and the Globes and shit like that? Dude, I was wearing those. Them fuckers stay like wide open. So, like, I didn't see where the pick went. I'm like looking around like a dumbass, like, where the fuck did it go? I know it's here. Fucking, it's here somewhere. I'm like, oh, well, fucking, I ain't gonna find it. I get home, throw my shoes up. I'm like, oh shit,
There it is.
Oh
like,
yeah.
what do you know? It was like a fortune cookie. It was just like, oh, you got a little fortune out of it. So
That's
that'll
sick,
never
dude.
happen again. But yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, dude. So, what's y'all's worst show experience playing live?
Shit. I've had a couple that were pretty frustrating. Um, so at least I can the most recent one that really hit me, and I even made a long post after that weekend, was a couple years ago. We played at Vibes Underground with Immortal Guardian, and
Mm.
I had just got my new Jackson V guitar like
Oh,
a couple of days before, and so
I'm
we played at Bonds on Saturday, and that show, literally everybody left the show. We were the last band. Everybody left except like 3 people, and then we had all these like technical difficulties. So I was pissed off that like people left, pissed off that we were having problems. And then we go to play the next day, Sunday, with Immortal Guardian, and it was Immortal Guardian and Power Glove, and they decided to. This is like a pretty small stage, but they decided to backline the entire stage, take up
Oh.
every power plug possible, and leave it all plugged in. And so I'm up there with like literally a foot in front of my cab before the monitors, and I'm scrambling to try to figure out how to plug my shit in. We're all kind of scrambling, and somehow one of my extension cords got left at Bonds the night before, because I'm digging through my bag and I can't find it. So I'm asking, the sound guy, and he's like, I don't know, man. They took all the plugs, and it's just like we're just shit out of luck. Nobody's helping us. And so I run off the stage after I already had my guitar out, and I'm trying to find extension cord. And so I get one finally and an extra power strip, but the only way to do it was to plug it in behind my amp. My amp was already set up, and so I already had my guitar on. We're already kind of running late. So I put my guitar behind my back to lean over the cab to plug in the cab. And I guess when I did that, I pulled my strap like halfway off by leaning over, because when I turned around, it just fell off, and it literally, the neck hit the onstage monitor. And I tried to play it for a second. It was so out of tune. So then I scrambled to go grab our backup guitar to play the show, which was Derek's other guitar. And so I get home that night, and I'm just kind of like frustrated, pissed off. And even the sound was all fucked up at that show. Like everything was shit. And then Monday, I open up my case to see the damage, and my entire fucking neck was cracked. It hit right on the fretboard. And so I'm like, I just bought this guitar on payments, and like I played one show with it, and then it broke, and I'm like, fuck my life. So remember, I made a pretty fucking pissed off post about both of those shows and the guitar. Just I was frustrated as fuck. And also from the lack of support from the scene of playing that show, and everybody fucking dipped. Like, I'm always that guy that shows up at the beginning of a show and stays till the end, because you're clocked in.
Yep.
It's a fucking job to an extent, and you're clocked in from the time that show starts till the time it ends. And I see too much of that shit going on here, and it finally like boiled up in me to say something. And maybe I pissed some people off, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but maybe it's deserved. But anyways, after contacting Sweetwater, my Sweetwater rep, about the guitar, I pretty much just sent him an email, and I was like, hey man, like the most unfortunate fucking situation happened. and I'm just seeing if there's any kind of like warranty that can reduce my cost of getting a replacement or getting it fixed. And he sent me back. He's like, yeah, I don't think that it's gonna work out, but he's like, send me some pictures and I'll send it to the other department. So I did that, and the dude from the, I guess, warranty department or the repair department or something, he sent me back. He's like, don't worry about it, we're gonna replace it for you. He's
God
like,
bless
awesome.
Sweetwater.
and I was
God
like,
bless
are
Sweetwater.
you fucking serious? So yeah, he literally just told me to pick out another model, like because on Sweetwater you have the same model, but you pick out your specific one from the weight and whatever. So he just told me to pick one. They'd ship it in a new case, and then when I got that box back, just pack the old one up and ship it back.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, I was like fucking all smiles that next day because I did not expect that. I probably didn't deserve that, but they hooked it up, and I mean, I will buy from them for life after that.
Fuck yeah.
It's awesome, dude. I like what you said about the scene, especially like one of my goals is to bring like more like metal bands for the local scene from San Antonio around the areas too, here in Texas to Uvalde. And we've put on a couple shows already, and I always tell the bands who are coming in from out of town, like, or any of the bands for local too, from La Friar or Pearsall or down the road that we're playing with a local band too. Hey, I tell them like, hey, like y'all can use my cabs, use my amp head, bring whatever else y'all want. We can use the house drums for my drummer. He's cool with it, just to mitigate y'all hauling all the gear out here and possibly having damage to your gear as well. Like I'll set up my cabs ready for y'all, and y'all just come plug in whatever. And most of the time they're like, hell yeah, dude, fuck yeah, I appreciate it. And like they come and they plug in and they'll ask me like, you have cables here or there? Like, yeah, dude, I got you right here, and I'll help them set up and shit. So especially my buddy's band, Chaotic Control, like I've held my buddy Rob on guitar, where he's always like, hey, like can I use your cab and just down, like he helped me down in the tone real quick, like yeah, sure, and I get them set up before they kick off. And this is one thing I wanted to help provide for them too, like just so again they won't be hauling gear and have to worry about like, okay, what are we bringing? They can tell them, bring your merch, bring everything that y'all want to sell, just come out here, make a buck and shit, and just play your art, perform it.
And then you can carpool because they don't have to carry all their equipment, and luckily it saves them a little on gas. That's pretty badass.
You're right.
Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe I'll get y'all next year. Come play down here in Uvalde.
Now that we got a new bass player, we are looking to book shows. So, sadly, some of my connections, have just stopped booking or whatever. So we only have one show next Friday booked, and that's it. So we're looking to set some stuff up, at least make a push for a little while, and then we do like to take some downtime, and we are started writing. So it's like we don't always push hard for the live shows because we don't want to oversaturate, but now definitely is the time. So if you got something coming, let us know.
Yes, sir. Of course.
You know what, Brian? That's real quick. That's something that's happened quite a bit, dude. Like when with us in the scene back then, there was this bands that would play every fucking weekend at the same spot. I'm like, yo, like that's not really a good fucking idea. And it was like, oh, what the fuck do you know? I'm like, okay. That's something that's like, I think that needs to be like brought up. It's like, man, you don't want to play at home too much, like a couple times a year, man, because you kind of want to get out there. The whole goal is to get out there. So it's like, just start hitting people up in like different cities. If you got connections somewhere, ask them to play on a show, But then for a long time, especially like at the end of, I'd say, well, maybe mid 2000s. 2010s kind of shit, like there was bands that were playing like the same venues almost every fucking weekend, and there was like, oh, why is nobody coming out? Because you're burning them out on the same shit.
And you can only expect your friends, like if you're trying to sell tickets or you're trying to get them to come out to your shows, you can't expect them to want to come out every fucking weekend. So it's like, at least if it's a priority to bring in, I can understand, like, I guess playing more often if you're going to be the one that's like, an event needs an opener, or a headline band where there's almost kind of a guarantee you're not going to have a lot of people to play for and they just need to fill a spot. That's a little more understandable to just take it on if it's like a last minute thing and you're being the guys to help out.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like if you're needing to draw a crowd to look good, it's just defeating the purpose because you're not gaining any fans. You're only burning out your fans you already have.
Yeah. And then those same bands, they were like, expect your friends to come out or expect their friends to come out. They get butthurt when they don't fucking make it. It's like, yo, didn't I just see you last weekend play the same fucking set? Like, I don't want to be a dick, but it's just like, I just saw this. Like, you know, what if something else came up? You know, what if I need to just relax? You know, it's like, don't get fucking butthurt. Fans, don't get butthurt if your friends don't make it out. Dude, shit happens.
Yeah, I don't expect it anymore. Like, I do appreciate when my friends come to support me, but at the same time, I'm that kind of person that really likes to stay at home. And that's probably how I create so much music and other shit. Because I'm just like a homebody, you know. I like to chill, drink my beers at home. It's safe, and I don't go out all the time to be making all these new connections. Which maybe I need to like adapt a little bit and start going out and just catching shows, which I did a week or two ago. I checked out Cerebral Desecration. You know, my homies. I used to play with them. Toby and Colin are in our band, Scars of the Flesh. So I went to check them out and just have a good night with them. So that's something I know I need to do more, just because I would want them to come to my shows. So it's like you give and you get. So
Oh yeah, that's dope, man. That's really sick.
You know, we never heard Joe's bad show. Joe.
Yeah. Sorry, I rambled on for way too long.
No.
Bro, you're fine. That's what the podcast is for. It's like, tell your shit. Like, this is we want people to get to know y'all. So
Sure. No, never really. One was funny, but it was bad for us financially. We had a show at the Cameo with a band called Death Tripper, and we're opening up for Militia out of Austin. So we're at the Cameo Theater down in downtown SA on East Coast. And during our set, at the very last song, I invited everybody to come on stage with us to do a stage diving contest. And I didn't think we'd get the participation of like several hundred people, but we did. And what happened is that the sound guy, for some reason, put hands on the side of the stage. So one of the guys came up, ran across the front of the stage, jumped up on there and used that as a launching pad to stage dive into the crowd. It was on rollers and it shot it back into a speaker, and we lost the whole right side of the PA. So it was funny as hell when it happened. At the end of the night, we accepted our payment and gave it straight to the sound guy, just kind of like this. Here you go, dude. Sorry. That was it.
That's fucking amazing.
Oh man.
Nah, it was fun.
Isn't that the way that 80s shows were like you dream about them being all fucking chaotic and hundreds of people jumping off the stage and just going fucking nuts? Like that's how I picture it, even though I was like a little too young to go to them back then.
Oh, dude, I remember during one of the songs in that show, I was sitting there singing, and the drummer for Death Tripper, Louis, came running, and he was barreling over people, and he flipped onto the stage and kicked me right in the head, almost damn near knocked me out. And I shook my head a little bit, and I kept on singing. Yeah, but it was violent, man. It was a blood sport. If you walked out of the bloody nose, that was kind of almost expected.
Yeah. That's a rite of passage right there. That's just called paying your dues.
That sounds bad, but also good at the same time.
Exactly.
It's just friendly, violent fun at the end of the day.
There you go. Exactly.
That's what slam dancing's for, anyways. And then like now we got hardcore bands doing the same fucking things, spin kicking each other right in the fucking head, shit. So
man, I can't stand that shit. Like personally, I'm all about the moshing. I've never wanted to really like be a part of it, but I can understand it. But this whole like doing karate kicks and just punching each other and kicking each other, when I can't wrap my head around it. and I don't know, maybe I'm just a little too old school for that. Like, it's just fucking chaos to me.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, but it's just like, yo, if your music makes them do that, let them beat the shit out of each other, because it's just like,
I mean, if I was playing on stage and they're doing it, I'm not gonna care
Yeah.
so much unless
Right.
somebody gets hurt.
I
If
do
somebody
not
gets hurt,
partake.
then yeah.
I do not partake in the hardcore dancing. I've spun a couple kicks. That's about it. Couple 2-steps and everything, but I'm like, I
Hey,
can't. I don't do it no more. But
one of the coolest things back in my days with Blessed Agony, my first band, we had a friend who would just come to a random show here or there at the White Rabbit. And this dude, every time he came to a show, he was a badass break dancer. Like, I don't know how he learned it, but he would end up like, we would have like not big crowds back then, 20, 25 people. And
Yeah.
he's in the middle of the fucking pit break dancing, dude. Every time he came to the show. And it was like the whole crowd just stops watching us and is watching him. And I'm like, oh my God, it was badass, but
dude, that's a legendary
outstanding.
fucking move right there.
seriously.
Yeah, did you ever have the Maggot crew come out to any of your shows?
Who?
Do you remember that mosh crew we had here? The Maggot crew or some shit like that?
Maggot Crew? No, I don't remember. Maybe.
Yeah, they were part of the White Rabbit deal, and like, well, they were around the local scene, but yeah, it was like a local mosh crew or some shit like that. They
Nah,
all
don't
wore white
remember.
and shit with a big old orange M on the back. I'm like, huh, okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
we
don't
had a mosh crew here. I was like, it
That's
was
sick.
interesting, but I'm just like, okay.
It's like a biker gang, but the mosh gang.
Yeah, well, man, you know what, dude? I used to hear about all these different crews like out in New York and Boston and shit. I'm like, huh. I was like, I never really experienced anything like that here.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
I
mean,
know we got the NYDM stuff here now, which I mean, all the people I've met are super cool. So,
yeah,
but it's
they're all
kinda,
fucking cool.
you know, they got their club. I don't know what they want to call it, but it's you know, they, from what I see, they only support, and that's the way it should be. So
Yeah, no, the people I've met are really cool. There's like maybe one or two people, like you said, a couple bad apples in there.
yeah.
But other than that, everybody else is cool. I mean, hell, they're bringing Dismember here, so I already got my tickets for that shit. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. And John, who he's in that club, the dude that's booking the show, I know he had asked me about booking Scars in the past, and I want to say he asked me once or twice, and sadly, every time he messaged me was like one of those times where we're like, oh, we're not booking anymore, or we're not going to do anything right now. And so I had to like turn him down, and I felt bad about it, but I did just recently hit him up and being like, hey, you know, sorry that we couldn't do the other things you offered, but we're available now. So hopefully he did kind of heart my comment. So I feel like hopefully maybe we can get something booked with him, because I do like what he's doing with his promotion company that he started. He's been booking some really killer shows, and I like to see that. And even if he doesn't end up booking us, it's just good to see that somebody's putting in all that effort and bringing some killer shows. So
His lineup is fucking sick right now. What he's got coming up, I'm like, holy shit.
yeah, he went hard from the get-go. Like when he started doing that stuff, he was booking some just great shows back to back to back. Like I'm like, man, how, like it's like he's done it forever. Like how does he have all these contacts?
Dude, I have no idea. Maybe it's like some kind of mob system. I don't know.
I don't know. I've always been that guy that kind of like it's like I probably should have learned to be a promoter a long time ago for all the shows that I've played, and I could have booked my own shows and made some profit or whatever, or paid the bands more fairly in my eyes. But it's just something like with all the things that I do, that's one thing that I was just like, I don't want to do that. Like,
tell you what, Brian, like I think you would have been better than some of the other people we have here. Just saying.
probably, and maybe at some point I'm gonna have to do it, but it's not something that's really like interested me, other than, you know, yeah, there's definitely some shows that I feel like should happen that aren't happening, and maybe that's the only way to make it happen. But as of now, I just don't feel like I have that mental effort to go through with the process.
Understandable. It's stressful. I mean, Chris has booked some shows. I'm pretty sure it was fucking stressful for him as well.
I bet. And bands always like, they all want a certain specific time slot. They all sometimes, we can't do it after all, and you got to change the flyer and do all this, and it's just like, from what I've heard from a few friends that have done it and then stopped doing it, they're just like, man, it's just fucking bullshit, like constant bullshit.
Yeah, you do have your nitpickers, the ones who want all yellow M&Ms and whatnot. But I forgot how that goes, that Van Halen story with David Lee Roth. Booking was interesting. I never planned to like start booking shows, but like, once I started getting out there, I started getting like, I was hungry for it. I got a taste and I wanted more. And I was just like, well, I want to play what San Antonio has to offer. So of course Scars and like bands like Darkness Emerged and like Corrupted State and like different bands from different genres, like let's just blend it up and see what we can do. But yeah, you do have like certain people who are like, hey, can you play at this time, or is it cool we do this or whatever, or how long's the set?
That was me. I was like, hey, can we get a good time slot?
Oh, for sure.
I remember when you asked me for the show, and I was like, I was that guy.
But I'm happy to accommodate for anybody, like I want everybody to come in with like no worries, get out there and just go out and jam, because I wouldn't want to go to a show knowing that I'm not gonna have a good time. I'm gonna be dealing with bullshit, and I'm gonna walk out with just the same attitude I came in with. Some people need to go out there and they need to go and perform just so they can fucking wake up tomorrow, just so they can see tomorrow's dawn, dude. And more than like the past 2 years, that's been me. I was like, man, dude, like I gotta get out there, I gotta jam. That's how I get that's my therapy. That's what's keeping me from not fucking doing anything from stopping completely. But so when anybody asks me like, hey, is it cool if we do this or that, and I'm happy to accommodate if they're gonna be like nitpicky and like to the fine detail, but like, hey, dude, you're not the only one they're gonna be there playing. So come on. But of course, like with booking, it was a totally different animal, dude, that I could see from my perspective. Booking and playing, I think I'd rather just be fucking playing or booking. Both is kind of just like, all right, cool, and I got my gear, I know what time to go on. Everybody comes in and then they start like running around and they're like, for instance, it's just like, hey, where can we put our gear? Or hey, where's this? Hey, where's that? All right, cool. Before I know it, I have 5 minutes to get out there and play. Like I haven't even fucking warmed up. Yeah. I gotta get with my voice, see like what we're gonna go with the set, or we're gonna mix up the set, or we're gonna do this or that. I gotta have like at least like 30 minutes or like an hour just so I can get in the right headspace to get out there and fucking play. Because I did that once back in October, and I fucking was burnt out playing. And it fucked me up. It was just like constantly running around. I didn't eat, and I fucking was chugging beers left and right, and I was just fucking dehydrated, and I was just fucking out of it. The sun was like, "Fuck you," and cooking everybody. And before I know it.
So just a sidetrack. I went to ride my bike earlier, and I went fucking 10 miles, and that sun literally almost killed me. Like I had to like stop in the shade for a while because I think I was like fucking borderline heat stroke.
Dude,
so I need to go a little less next time because by the time I got home, I was like bright red, felt like I was dying.
Dude, the humidity was so fucking bad this morning. The air just looked fucking thick, dude. Because I went out for coffee this morning, and I was like, boiling. Dude, it fucking feels like shit out here. What?
Your coffee was boiling.
Dude, like all the ice melted.
Oh shit! Yeah, it said it was like 99 degrees when I was riding, but it felt like 120. Yep. Like I've ridden in 105, and I've done 10 miles before, and I was not near feeling like that. I don't know what the hell's going on lately.
Fucking Texas weather. It's fucking bipolar as shit. It's just fucking. It's fucking unpredictable here. I fucking hate it. It makes me want to move to another state.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, like with booking shows and stuff, like, and even the playing the shows, there's always the, the equipment transport, the getting everything together, getting the stuff loaded in. There's a whole lot of time that just goes into playing the show. Not to mention, if you're the one booking the show and you got to make sure that bands are getting off the stage at the time they're supposed to. Because I've played so many shows where bands run over and then over, and then the next band runs over, and then the last band is screwed over by like 45 minutes to an hour. And that's happened to me before, being the headliner. Like, supposed to go on at 12 and you go on at 1:30 or something,
Fuck yeah. There's some bands that just like to take their sweet ass time getting off stage too. It's like, yo, get on, get off. Like, come on. Like, be considerate of everybody else's time, because there's bands that drive in from out of town sometimes. So just some people have no consideration whatsoever.
Yeah, I had one band that I booked where we all had 20-minute sets, and then like I didn't realize that they were going on for over 20 minutes. I was like, wait, how long have they been up there? And someone's like, they've been up there for a while. Like, what the fuck time is it? And I was like, dude, like, no way. And then like I got sidetracked and we were doing some other stuff. Before I know it, they like just finished the set, and then the next band going up was just like, well, what do we do? I was like, play your set, dude. Don't worry about it. I mean, just play your full set. He's like, yeah, go, let's go for it, bro. Like, it's cool. And I was pretty bummed out. But speaking of booking shows, I had another question for y'all. If you could book five bands for a show, which bands would they? And it could be any band in the world that you can play or you can attend. It'll be your top five.
Ooh, man. I don't know. You want to go first, Joe? That's gonna take some thought. Fuck.
Yeah, that's most of mine are gonna be local guys, or they're old buddies of mine. Of course, Mythologik. I would love to be on a bill with probably Watchtower, probably Militia, Valkyrie, but I don't think I can do double duty. My throat would be thrashed after that evening. And then probably Rotting Corpse.
Damn.
That's another one of my favorite local bands.
Damn, that's crazy, because all those bands you mentioned we've all printed shirts for because of Rodney.
That's fucking cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a tight group. It's a tight group. Yeah, we all know each other, and like you say, we even used, when Rodney was singing for Devastation. I mean, everybody's just a fan of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, he brings in some bands. I'm like, yeah, because we've done shirts for Watchtower, of course, Valkyrie. I'm hoping Mythologic next time. No.
Yes. We just need to get more people buying stuff, because I put some print to order shirts on the site, but like even with CDs, like we're not selling shit. So I hope this new album leads to some more interest. Like, we went full out on the CDs this time. We added a 12-page booklet. They should be arriving actually any minute now. It said by 7 p.m. the last time I checked, but
oh shit.
Yeah, so it's just like we're taking a risk on that in itself, and we made some patches, but there just hasn't been enough interest, and we might end up just losing out on that money we put in and be sitting on those for a while. I mean, maybe need to just give out some CDs for free to get promotion. But yeah, if there comes a time where I feel like we could sell some shirts, I would definitely hit you up. For Scars, I'm going to be hitting you up, because we're at least, it's easier to sell shirts at live shows.
Oh, for sure.
So at least for those, like, we have another design, and we've been debating what we need to get, because we are running low on our Scars merch. But
you hit me up and we'll talk, and we'll fucking get that shit figured out for you.
Fuck yeah, dude. Soon, very soon.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but I guess for my 5 bands, fuck, I had I mean, if it's like the dream lineup, it's gonna be probably like King Diamond, Dimmu Borgir. Maybe I'll make Galder do double duty and do Old Man's Child, if that's possible.
Holy shit, hell yeah.
And shit, I don't know. I'll throw a power metal band in there or something, Primal Fear. I don't know, how many is that for? Yeah, we'll put some classic. We'll throw Judas Priest in there too. Fuck it. Just
Nice.
make it completely unrealistic.
Nice.
Well, me and Chris have been fucking manifesting DSI going on tour with Judas Priest, so
I mean, why might as well. You had an Immortal tour with Manowar some years ago, so why not?
why the
Right.
fuck not?
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Oh man, that's pretty sick, dude. That's crazy lineups. Yeah, I would have.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely gonna snag a Pageant CD when I get paid. I just been fucking swamped.
Yeah.
But like when I posted it, I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude. And then before I know it, like my check's gone with bills.
Yeah, I understand. I think everybody, like, that's another sign of the times, is that everybody's struggling financially right now, because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen over my albums from like COVID times to nowadays. I was selling a lot around release time, and when I'm doing the hard promo push and giving bundle orders and all this stuff. I was selling a lot, and it slowly declined over every album. And I don't think that's from lack of interest, because I still see this, same or more stream numbers. But I just feel like everybody's hurting now, and the only time that you catch them when they're just like disregarding their finances is at a live show, because they're like, I don't care if I'm broke. I'm just gonna buy it anyway. But when they're sitting at home and they see it on Facebook, and they're like, I don't have the money for that right now.
Yeah.
I did that last night.
Yeah, I bought a fucking damn In Flames shirt last night on my credit card. I didn't want to spend money, but I bought one.
Yeah. Well, man, I bought the Gatecreeper 10-year anniversary reissue album. I didn't know they had that, because I was trying to look for the special edition cassette they had for the tour. I was like, I want to get that. And then I didn't even see that album until like later. So I saw somebody walking with it. I'm like, okay, I'm buying a vinyl. And then I had to go throw the boys and Creeping Death some money too, because those are my dudes. I don't have that many Creeping Death shirts. So I was like, I'm going to buy something from them too.
I sadly missed them. I know I told you at the show, but
Yeah.
we were having, I didn't get off till late, and then we were having a bunch of traffic on the way up there, and then we couldn't find parking for fucking ever. Then we had to walk to the venue from where we did park.
Yeah.
And by the time we got in there, it was like in between Creeping Death and Gate Creeper.
Yeah, dude. Even when I left work early, it was, traffic was fucking unbearable, dude. Like, I got there at like almost 4:00, and I left work at 2:00.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was telling Chris this recently when I was trying to leave for Canada. Stuck in Austin for 2 hours. Fort Worth too. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Fuck I-35.
Yep. Big fucking bunch of bullshit and traffic, construction, and dumbass drivers.
Oh, don't even get me started with that. Yeah.
Oh man.
What? So Joe,
Yeah.
do you ever get any shows in McKinney ever, or do you always have to drive elsewhere?
Yeah,
What's the last show you went to?
up here, up here in DFW. Actually, last show I went up to up here was Scott's Judas Priest tribute band over in Frisco. But most of the underground metal and thrashy bands and stuff like, they play over more like on the Fort Worth side, like in Halton Theater, over in Arlington, stuff like yeah, like an hour drive from here in McKinney. So yeah, a lot of the shows are more over on the west side of DFW.
I'll be in Dallas tomorrow.
Yeah, we played that Haltom Theater with Scars one time. It was pretty cool. I liked it. The sound guy was a little bit
nice.
He kind of didn't do a great job. Like, all I could hear in my monitor was just me blaring in my ear. But it still went over pretty well. It was a cool show.
Nice.
Something about those front of house guys, man. Sometimes they're good, other times they're not.
The dude looked like he was 16 years old. Like, I don't know how the fuck he got that job. I was like, hey, bro, can you turn me down in the monitor after the first song? And so we start the second song, and he turned me up in the monitor. I was like, okay. So after the second song, I was like, hey, it got even louder. Can you turn it down in the monitor? And it got even louder the next time. And I was like, okay, he's either fucking with me or he doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm just gonna stop saying anything and try to finish the show.
Fuck.
Sorry, I'm pouring water.
It's okay. Yeah. I'm pouring beer down my throat.
Yeah, I was on the snag of beer, but I was like, we're gonna start already. It's fine. So yeah, speaking of that, with like local shows, like y'all have any advice for like up and coming bands from the local scene, or any advice towards like any way trying to get out there? Or like, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell yourself when you first start, when like you can go back and tell your younger self something?
Shit, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily feel like I've succeeded in that realm. So most of the shows that I booked, like in the early days of Blessed Agony, my first band, like early 2000s, we played with like power metal bands. And it was strange, but I've never had like a real connection to how to figure it out. Of like most of the decent shows that we played, it was always offered, you know. And I would say that it's not necessarily good to do what I've done the last couple years, which is sometimes when things are offered, either me or one of the other band members can't do it. And I always hate turning down offers, because then that person doesn't want to ask you again. So, but that's kind of when you get to that oversaturation point where you're playing too much because you keep getting people messaging you to play. So at some point you do have to pick and choose, but I don't know. There's some kind of chaotic science to it that even I haven't figured out to this day. Joe, you got any insight from back in the day? How did y'all get it rolling?
Yeah, no, it was all, DIY, of course, but it was flyers, visiting Hog Wild downtown quite a bit, a lot of networking. But if I could go back and tell my young self what to do, I would say pick up the band and move to Europe. Because
There you
the metal scene just happening and still thriving.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you live in Europe and you're a musician, you're set.
Yeah. But I'm sure, like, honestly, we don't live there. So, think about how many local bands might be there that you've never heard about.
Very true.
Like, do you think it's like this? Like we've seen in Texas? I can't say for sure, but I kind of have a feeling that things are the same over there, and you just don't hear about
True.
90% of the bands that are playing around there.
That is true. Yeah, it's probably like that globally.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does seem like I've noticed. Isn't Creeping Death from Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've noticed that several bands from the Dallas area have been getting successful lately. So they got to have something going on good there in that scene.
Well, I've talked to several of them, guys from Tribal Gaze, Frozen Soul, and it's like this new wave of Texas death metal. But I should say it's more like these hardcore dudes are playing death metal, and they're bringing this new vibe out, dude. And right now
we're kind of like old Swedish death metal a bit. It's like a bit messy, but it has that vibe of like Dismember and Entombed.
Yeah,
like early Hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's like they got the hardcore groove with the drums, but they got the death metal riffs.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's thriving out there. I couldn't be more proud of that kind of shit. Like it's exactly what we needed. And having that Texas Love Texas thing where it's just like now you see all these hardcore bands and you see all these death metal bands, like they're starting to support each other, they're starting to take each other out on tour and shit like that. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I love this like kind of like this Texas unity we have now. You know, and you see it with the local bands and like Bryan and Joey. I'm pretty sure you could attest to this too, that there are some times where the support for each other is just not there.
Oh,
you know,
man.
I've seen it for a long time.
I've seen it a ton, and I don't want to disrespect any of my peers because I'm always happy to see them doing well. But the whole TXDM scene has never supported me whatsoever, like ever. And I've gone to their shows and I've been cool. I know several people that are in bands that, you know, kind of support that. And it's just something that I've felt like outside on. And I've played in this scene for over 20 years. And it just feels like a clique, you know, it's like you're in high school and they got their clique and they're like, oh, no, you're not cool enough to be in this clique. Or I don't know if, you know, somebody in there is talking shit about me because of the things I do, but I don't know. I do feel like some bands, it's like, you know, everybody's homies and everybody wants to see you succeed, but then there are a lot of bands where it's just a big fucking competition. And I don't know why it has to be that way.
I think it killed the scene for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it killed it. I think it's, you know, I think the scene is just like it's on life support and it could revive, you know, especially for the local scene that we're talking.
Here's the thing, Chris. It was like this is like more so years ago. Like it was just like to a point where it was almost every band beefing with each other to an extent, and like they say they're homies, you know, but it became purely competition of like, oh, I'm going to open up for this band or I'm going to book this show and get my band on there kind of deal. And just like, there was always some kind of like drama. And that's what, and that for a while, like in the scene here in San Antonio, man, it kind of just, it fucking died off for a bit. But this is like, this is why you were way still in high school. Like you were just a kid, you know, and all that shit just like it built up to an extent, dude, where it's just like, okay, this, you know.
I think I noticed a lot of that around the, like, I want to say 2007 to 2010, 2011 time.
That's the era I'm talking about right there. Yeah, because that was a part of that too.
That was the end of my first band, Blessed Agony, was like 2000. I think we ended in 2009, but we would play shows and there would just be like none of the bands would stick around.
No.
You know, nobody would really talk to each other. And then when we started Wings of Abaddon, it was a little bit of a revival of things coming back together, people being homies, and the bands we were booking with, we became all friends with. And that's when we started booking some bigger shows with some bigger touring acts. I know the first one we landed, which was like a really big deal for us, we did some Battle of the Bands at the White Rabbit to get on a show with Unearth.
I was there.
Yeah, nice. And we hadn't even recorded an album, and I was passing out demos of like, you know, it was like a live show recording that I'm sure some people around here might still have it. I don't even know if I have one.
I think I might actually still have it.
Yeah, and I had kind of cheated a bit on that because the live recording of the guitars was so low that I used my 4-track to record the guitars over. So like I studio track the guitars on this live recording just to make it sound a little bit better.
That's awesome.
It was fucking weird, but I mean, it was just something to like pass out at that show because we were talking about it before and we're like, man, we need something. We have to use this opportunity to get our name out. And so I burned like 50 of those CDs before that show and we were just passing them out. But that was a big step of, you know, things that I've been fortunate in my bands to be able to always seem to somehow book shows with touring acts and be the opening bands, which you gain a lot of new fans by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think things did kind of change in 2010 and on where things started to revive with the local scene and people were being cooler with each other. and the
Like
local shows were popping a
2012.
bit.
Like
So I got a
2012
theory
is when
about
I really
that.
started to notice.
Yeah.
So I got a theory about that because around that same time, that's when like the internet was like at its peak,
True.
and
And
like
Facebook and all that stuff.
exactly. So everybody was jumping on social media, and on that you can look at another band that you play with or a band that you've heard of. You can see how many likes they got. You can see how many followers they got. You can see who they're playing with. And I think that started bringing out the enviness in some people.
Mhm.
And I think
you're
that was
completely right, actually, because I didn't join Facebook until like 2011, so it was right around that time. And then you start following the bands, you remember their names easier, you start to see their posts, you connect with the band members, you become friends with them.
yeah. I always believe that it was always a double edged sword with social media and the internet because like one here's the negative side effects to where you want to get to the next step and you're seeing somebody who's already past that step and you're like fuck I want to get there or it's just like fuck them dude like they fucking cheated or blah 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 they have you that person comes up with that fucking cause but then here's the other side the good side you get to network even easier now you get to meet other people you get to like befriend other people you get to like discover new music, discover new like of course metal out there, So
Yeah.
that's just
It's like, I mean, it's something that is hard to deny when you see, even if it's like a friend's band that's getting big things and being successful, or if it's a band you don't know but is from your area is getting successful, it's undeniable that you're gonna feel that little bit of jealousy, like why aren't we there? Why aren't we doing that? But you still gotta just make sure to support your
oh yeah.
friends in your scene and not let it hit you too hard. Like maybe you can still get there. Maybe you can still do other things, different things.
I think it's part of the human condition to be honest. It's human to feel envious.
Yeah.
It's human to feel jealousy because when you're so passionate about something, you're hungry for you have this drive for these goals that you want to get and you see somebody else who has it already or someone who's got it with ease and you're over here grinding you're putting in the hours you're staying up late you're working to the bone and shit and then they're just doing it with like not even a fucking flick of the wrist and so yeah and I get it's part of the human condition but how you portray that from yourself is gonna define your character you can be the bigger man and say you know what good for them I'm proud of them or you can be like fuck them I hope they fucking lose every fucking gig they get and all that bullshit.
I hope you go on stage and break your guitar.
No.
Somebody
Dude,
must have wished that upon me because it happened.
That was a sadder story than fucking Marley and me, dude. God damn, that broke my heart.
Hey, it had a happy ending though.
I mean, yeah, you got a happy ending. I mean, still, that poor guitar, dude.
Oh man.
But
I'm glad it worked out though. Because
dude. So, are y'all jamming to any new bands lately, or jamming to some old school? Because I always revisit a lot of fucking classic metal and whatnot.
The two for me that I want to mention from this year, there's a ton because I started doing this around COVID times when I was working at home and I had my kind of a data entry job. So all I would do is listen to music all day. But I started keeping a list of new albums when they would come out. And, that way I had a list of like, if I can't keep up to listen to it right now, I'd go back to the list later to try to always keep up with what news coming out. And I still try to do that. It's a little harder to keep up, but I'm still actively attempting to do it. And one of the ones that just shocked me with how good it was that new Attic album. They sound like literally Merciful Fate, Don't Break the Oath. Like
hell yeah.
It's like the follow-up to Don't Break the Oath, but it's not Merciful Fate doing it. And somehow that album is just fantastic. And then the other one I want to say is the new Carrie King. Actually, I love it. Like, I wasn't really a big fan of the last few Slayer albums. They were kind of just seeming kind of meh and not very well produced, and I wasn't really into it, but I listened to a couple of those singles from the Kerry King stuff, and I was like, man, this is like really good, really on point, really polished. And that singer has such a killer voice for the Slayer style. I know he's from Death Angel, but man, that album, like, it's got some weaker songs. It's not like through and through fantastic, but it is the best thing that I've heard from that style in a while. Like, it reminds me a lot of the Divine Intervention Slayer era, which was a little more polished and kind of thought out. And I'm really digging it. Regardless, I've seen some mixed reviews, but personally, I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, I checked it out too, and I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, I love it.
That song "Residue" is fucking brutal. Like that breakdown at the end. Oof.
Yeah, I was not expecting it. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, oh shit. I was like, dude, this fucking killer, dude.
What about you, Joe? What do you got spinning?
The one that really took me by surprise was the latest Judas Priest, Invincible Shield.
Yeah, dude.
That's a good one.
I couldn't believe they were still putting out music like that. Halford at his age still is God and can still hit notes that only dogs can hear. I was so impressed by that album.
That's good, dude. I like that. That's fucking awesome. I don't want to get sidetracked, but earlier it freaked me out. I'm one of the Judas Priest groups that I follow. I think it's a Tim River Owens fan page or something that I follow. That Hot Topic now has fucking Juggulator shirts.
Oh, dude, I just ordered one. Like right before the interview because they had a sale or something.
Dude, that's fucking sick, dude.
Hot Topic shirt or something. I was like, man, I fucking love Juggulator. I literally ordered that shirt like fucking 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I saw you got the patch like maybe a few months ago, maybe even last year. I saw you got one. I was like, fuck, I got one now.
Dude, that patch is
I love Juggulator, dude.
Yeah. That new Cage Priest too is the shit. That was last year.
Yeah.
Man, that album was great.
Yeah.
Now we're sidetracking.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Joe. But yeah, dude, Invincible Shield fucking was a banger, dude. I love that whole album, dude.
Yeah, it's killer.
It's 2024 and Priest is still kicking. Like, what the fuck, dude?
And not even like they're kicking hard as hell because that album is fantastic.
Yep. I mean, Halford's not missing a step at all. He is still king.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Davey, what about you, man?
The new 6 Feet Under. No, I'm joking. Fuck Chris Barnes.
I heard some good shit. I don't know, dude. I heard like the riffs. I heard the riffs are fucking heavy.
Oh no, I've the little snippets I heard of it. Riffs are good. Chris, you know my fucking story with him. Bryan, man, you know what? I gotta tell you this story. I'll probably tell it to both you and Joey off camera, but I got some personal beef with fucking Chris Barnes.
Dun, 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 dun.
And it was at a show. It was at a fucking show. I worked at the Rabbit, dude.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, this is 2005, dude. So, but I'll probably tell you about that, but not a fan.
Hey Bryan, is that the infamous Abbott?
Yes, and he is trying to take over my lap. Let's get him on camera here.
Yo. Dude, every time you post them, I always show my fiance like, look, his cat's named Abbott, and she loves him, dude.
Yeah, he's a big old fat cat, so furry, like he's completely fuzzing me up with his fur right now.
You got quite a few cats. I remember that.
I just got two. Abbott's brother is named Lola, and yes, I said brother named Lola. But
it's okay because Chris has a similar situation like that.
We thought they both were girls when we got them. So Abbott was going to be Abby, which could still be a girl's name, you know. But Lola was named, and then he was really furry, like a furry black cat. So you can see his fucking nuts if they're there because he's got too much fur back there. So when I took
I
them
have
to
a similar issue.
when I took them to get neutered, I was like telling the lady, I was like, I actually think they're boys. I'm not too sure though. And she's like, yeah, they're boys. And I was like, okay, well, we got a boy cat named Lola because he was already responding to the name. And
That's awesome.
he kind of acts a little prissy anyway, so it fits.
Motherfucker acts like a diva and shit. So.
Yeah, but they were born of the same litter, so they're
Okay.
literally brothers, and they fight and hit each other and love each other and lick each other. It's just like depending on the mood of the day.
Right.
Yeah,
I just got a badass idea for you. You should totally recreate like an Abbott shirt, but with your cat instead of Abbott himself, dude. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or actually, that's the next title for your album, Abbott and Lola. There you go, just boom right there, dude. Those will sell, dude. Metalheads love cats, dude. Those are gonna sell, bro.
I just bought the Death Kitties long sleeve from Pull the Plug patches.
Fuck yeah, that one.
The army of the cats, and on the back it's got the cat's buttholes with the logo backwards. Oh my god, it's amazing. Somebody was wearing it at the show last night. I saw it.
Damn, that's sick, dude.
Yeah.
I like how bands fucking collaborate with like all the cat stuff. Like when Obituary and Cow Decapitation did the cat shirt, but it was for Donald Tardy's cat shelter.
I don't think I saw that one. I might have to look it up.
I'm pretty sure it's sold out, but it's still badass that they did that. Yeah. There's a bunch of bands that do that. I was like, this is fucking cool.
Fucking cats are cool, man. Cats and metalheads. It kind of goes hand in hand. So.
Pretty much, yeah. So I know we got off topic too again, but I forgot what the fuck we were talking about.
This is what we're jamming to lately.
Oh, that new Gate Creeper album for sure is like the one I'm jamming to, and I got the vinyl in just this past week too.
Fuck yeah, dude!
That's probably the main one I'm jamming right now, and the new single from Kukulkan.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Gate Creeper last night was my first time hearing them, but they were good.
Yeah, I've seen them several times, man. And I talked to Chase, the singer, before the show. He was just out there hanging around and shit. And I left the show like maybe a couple songs before In Flames got done.
And yeah, it took quite a while.
Yeah, and then like Eric was out there just chilling, the big guitar player. So I chilled with him for a little bit, and then I tried to beat the traffic going home, and didn't work.
Yeah, In Flames played great though, man. They sound so great. Good live.
That's a band I don't think I can get tired of seeing live.
No, they got such good energy, and their mix, like whoever their sound guy is just nailing it. Perfect.
Top notch. The guy who ran the light show too. Top notch.
Yeah.
Fucking great goddamn light show as well.
Yeah, and they had those 4 towers behind them of lights. That was cool.
Dude, that was a good setup too. I liked it. And they had that they had that fucking big old 18-wheeler in the back too for all their shit. I'm like, damn, man, that's how you knew you're rolling deep. Fucking they had a really good setup. I loved it. So Chris, what are you jamming?
I jammed the new Slayer, Kerry King. That was fucking big. That was fucking killer. Great Keeper, I was fucking blown away. I'm jamming 2 new things lately. Well, one's old school, just because of like, just like a memory lane. But the new Josta was really cool. I really liked it.
That too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Suicidality was this fucking like banger, like a fucking song, dude. Especially with Phil Dem on it, dude. Like, goddamn, dude. Like, it's fucking like anything that dude touches is just fucking like gold and shit. And the fact that Phil was like on that one, and of course he's on the Kerry King, from Hell I Rise. It was fucking killer. I actually jammed to Operation Mindcrank and Creams right yesterday, all in its entirety again.
Wow.
And
that album is timeless. That album is fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. I remember jamming to it as a kid, and like, my aunt and uncle, they loved Creams Right. And I remember we went whenever Jeff Tate went off and did solo shit. and he played the whole album live, and I was just like, holy shit, like it sounded tight as fuck, dude. And then and just like just wanted to fucking jump back in time and just put it on, dude, and just fucking started jamming it. I was like, God damn, I forgot about like all these songs, dude. Like when fucking the Needle Lights hit me, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about this song, dude. Forgot about Sweet System Area. Like, fuck, dude. I was like, damn, dude. Like, I think Sweet System Area is just a song that you have to hear live, dude. And like, I'm envious because like I wish I could have heard it when they first came out. Because when did that album come out? 89 or 90? I might be
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, it was in the 80s because Empire came out in 91, right? Or 92?
I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe like late 80s.
Yeah,
I would.
you had the Warning, then you Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mindcrime.
I would love to go back and just fucking like be there when they're at the fucking prime, like right when it dropped and they go out. Like, and I always loved watching Operation Life Crime, that fucking live version. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That fucking little DVD, that shit's fucking sick.
Yeah,
and it has like
I just checked Spotify. It's 88 for Mindcrime, 1990 for Empire.
Yeah, dude.
Ah, okay.
But man, yeah, Mindcrime is like one of my all-time favorites. I love concept albums. Like that's why I love King Diamond so much.
Yep.
And I love that, I've done concept albums with my solo stuff. And even now with Mythologik, we did a concept, but it's kind of like a theme concept where it's not like necessarily derivative and character driven, but it still has an overall concept feel to it, which I just love that. I can't escape that. And every time I see a band has done a concept, I'm like intrigued to learn what it's about, the story. And yeah, those albums always sit with me different than just regular albums.
Yeah, it's totally like a whole different perspective on like listening to music.
Yeah, it's like you can close your eyes and visualize a movie almost while you're listening to it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Takes a lot of thought process too, man, which is actually really respectable because it's like, well, you gotta actually sit down and write out this whole thing, and for the most part, it's pretty impressive. A lot of bands have done it, and
so speaking of something, I know Chris, you said that the first album you heard of mine was "Haunting at Helmbrook," and so the next album of my solo stuff I will release will be "Haunting at Helmbrook Part 2."
Oh, fuck.
Oh, so the music is already done and very inspired from the first album. I already have song titles. I have the concept mapped out in my mind. I just need to put words to it. So it's all kind of, I'd say about 75-80% clear in my head what I want to achieve with it for the story. But I mean, things might change once I start putting pen to paper, but that's gonna happen for sure.
Dude, that's fucking sick. Wow.
Yeah. And I'll probably re-release the first album right before that so I can have the mixes more in tune with each other, so it'll be kind of like you can listen to them back to back and it won't be such a dramatic difference of 10 years of different mixes.
Oh yeah. That's fucking awesome. I'm excited for that, dude. Honestly, I am. A concept album that caught me by surprise was I think it was like a duo concept albums was Whitechapel. When they did The Valley and then they did Kin. And
I didn't know those were concept albums.
Yeah, it's basically like from what I remember hearing about it from Phil Bozeman, the lead singer. He it's about his upbringing, about his his trouble at home, and like kind of like him like imagining like how he wished shit would go down. So it was mostly like what's going on in his head, and like how he would like portray his reality, because he lost his mom and dad at a very young age. And,
so it's like a real life concept album, kind of telling about his own experience.
Yeah, it's a real life concept album mixed in with like some fiction, and like it's really cool. If you haven't checked it out, it's the Valley is probably like well, they're both great, dude. You know, it's just like they explore more different more different themes and genre. Like, you know, it's not like too full on deathcore as like you're not gonna get like the smell defilement, or you know,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
gonna
more
get like
familiar with the old stuff, but I have
yeah.
listened to a song or two off of each of those, I think, and I remember hearing more clean vocals, more polished sound, but I didn't know
Mhm.
there were concepts. That actually kind of intrigues me to check
Yeah,
it out full, which I have not. So
and like it's just like whenever like you hear the songs, you're like, okay, cool, and then like you start like checking out the lyrics and start understanding where he's coming from writing it, you're like, fuck, it's heartbreaking. And the music videos like kind of paint a picture for you too. And it's like one of those songs called Hickory Creek, and that's one of the streets he grew up on. And it's basically like where everything was going down because he had a stepfather that was just like an abusive junkie,
mm.
and it's the reason why his mom passed away because he had her OD.
Oh man.
And it's just fucking it's
Oh, wow.
heartbreaking. And it's about like, you know, the valleys, like I guess like where like he would like they would go over there when they're from Tennessee, so I guess the valley's just like kind of slang term. And
Mhm.
so and then kin, of course, kin meaning family and shit. And it's kind of cool because the album for the valley, it's the woods, and then it's the big eye. It's like fucking, oh shit, it looks like a fucking old school horror movie from the 80s.
Mhm.
And then kin is kind of like, it looks more like a two album where it's like these two faces facing each other, and it has like all like kind of not prismatic but like articulate kind of way. But if you turn the album upside down, you see the devil silhouette.
I did not
Yeah,
know that. Damn, I'm gonna
yeah.
have to like really check that out. I'm intrigued
uh
now.
yeah, the valley is more like it's heavy, it's really catchy, very hooky for some songs. His clean vocals are like insane. I never thought he would like be able to sing like that after hearing him do like, you know, doing all that shit for years. And
Super
then of
brutal.
course, yeah, super brutal, like fucking like, and his fucking extreme vocals for him, like he's like top tier in that category. And
Mm-hmm.
but when you hear Ken, it's more like, okay, this is more like, it's more proggy, and it's more like well thought out. It's insane, the writing process for these songs. And like it's insane, dude. Like there's one song called Lost Boy. That's the probably one song you should check out first when you dive into the album to get like a feel for it. That song's all over the fucking place, and
Dude,
it's so sick.
not to completely sidetrack, but you just maybe remember about Zornheim. Have any of y'all heard them?
No.
No, sir.
No? Dude, they're fucking amazing. Like they just put out a new single, and their entire band concept is about like an insane asylum called Zornheim. And so they just put out a new music video for which I can guess is something for an upcoming album because they've been working on it, but they have 2 albums so far, and they're all like one giant concept about that asylum.
Oh, that's so sick.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, and I would highly recommend it. It's like symphonic melodic death metal. Like, do you know those best elements of like Dimo Borgir and the singer? He was, I don't think he was on an album, but he did play with Scar Symmetry for a bit. So he's got the heavy
Shit.
lows. He's
Hell
got
yeah.
the clean vocals that are really cool. Highly recommend.
I'm not gonna
And
lie,
that-
man, because that name sounds like a fucking Power Ranger villain or some shit.
Kinda,
But
yeah. And it's Zorn,
but-
Zornheym.
But you got me interested. You got me
Yeah,
interested.
dude, you will
Right.
not be disappointed. When my friend sent me that back, the first album back in like 2018 or something, and I was like, holy shit, dude, this is like one of the most amazing albums I've heard in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I follow the main guitarist. He calls himself Zorn, so he's a really cool dude on Facebook. He'll like, you know, send you birthday wishes when it's your birthday. He'll like, if you comment on their stuff, he will respond. Like he's very interactive. Like he doesn't act like he's too big to be personable with people. And
I like that.
I find that very respectable, and it makes me want to like them even more. But their music alone does that. So definitely all you guys check them out.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Gotta
I
look
just
them up
found
right
them.
now.
I looked them up right now too. Yeah, wow, they look fucking sick.
Dude, that new video was cool as fuck.
Mhm.
I'm excited to hear a new album announcement. They just kind of put the single out without announcing anything. So, but I know it's coming because I see their updates about working on the album.
Oh yeah, the artwork looks sick. None for all.
That is some sick ass artwork.
Yeah. And there's a chick that did the artwork. She posted today her process of doing the watercolor painting of it.
Oh wow.
I have her on my Facebook as well because they had shared who she is, and I like to follow artists.
Yeah.
And so she posted the progress photos of doing like the sketch, the outline, and then doing the watercolor painting. It was fucking cool.
Speaking of that, man, like you do a lot of your own artwork, Bryan?
Yeah, I have for quite a while now. I honestly was, when I was really young, I used to love to draw and do artwork, and that was escalating and continuing until high school when a certain bitch of an art teacher decided that I was too disruptive in art class 1 or whatever the fuck that class was called. And even though I did good art, she said that she wouldn't recommend me for art 2 because of my attitude.
Bitch
And
ass.
so that kind of really like pissed me off, and I didn't literally like ever draw after that forever. And nearly 15, 20 years passed of me never doing it. And the first thing that I did digital art was the Final Eclipse, the Winter's Plague album I put out that has now been rebranded as one of my solo albums. I just wanted to do that whole album DIY. And so I didn't even have a good program to do it. It was all like mouse clicking and effects. I didn't have a drawing tablet or anything. So I achieved that through a lot of hours of just fucking around, and it came out okay. Not the greatest. I repainted it in 2020 for the re-release, and it came out much better. But that was kind of my first foray back into doing things or doing art again, and then starting to do my own artworks for my own albums, which I've continued that with all my projects. I did the last 2 Scars album covers. I did our 2 Mythologik covers. I've done my last 3 or 4 solo album covers. And I also started learning video editing, video animation, and stuff like that to do my own videos, because as an independent musician, all you do is spend money. You don't make money. So every little way you can save money and learn a new skill is a way to push your band forward, in my eyes. And I've always been trying to push that on my bandmates as well, is that, hey guys, why haven't you started learning this stuff too? Because our powers combined are more than just me. And like, you don't just have to play guitar, like you can start to learn this stuff as well. And that's the way I've looked at it. And I know I'm not the greatest artist, and I'm really a lot better with photo manipulation than I am hand drawing. Like that girl that did the Zornheim stuff. She's obviously just a really talented artist. But I use, I find ways to overcome my weaknesses and do the best I can. And I will always be confident in the product that I put out. So I feel good about it, and it's only moving forward.
Hell yeah. Nah, your artwork's good too. I like it too. So
thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Joe, who did you get to do the Valkyrie album art?
First one was a buddy of mine in San Antonio, for the EP release, and then for the other shirt that you were talking about, this was before I got in touch with Bryan. Was an artist somewhere in South America that he posts stuff like Instagram and sells his work for pretty cheap. So I got him to do the cover for Heavy as My Crown.
That's a
so
cool
yeah,
cover.
no, I can't go past stick figures. My artistry and drawing. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the next Mythologic single, stick figures. Because you have to do the next one,
right?
I want to be there and print that shirt too. So that's gonna be the shirt single bundle package.
Yep, he's gonna make the video as well.
Shit, we're exploding now.
No, just do like the stick figures and do the flip pages where it's like.
Oh man, that was fucking hard. Jesus.
Right.
I don't even want to try that. No. Nope.
No, man, we're gonna try it.
Yeah, fucking animating and video stuff is just like mind blowing how hard it is sometimes. Like some of these videos I put out, the first one I went like super in depth with was that Ice Queen video from my Plaguebringers album.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that video took me like a month and a half of working on it every single day for like 4 hours a day. And I was so mentally burnt out by the time I finished that video. I was like, how do people do this on the regular? I'm sure there's like some shortcuts and other things that maybe I don't know about, but I've got a little faster at it over time, but there's still some videos. Our Scorched Earth video, that one took me about 3 weeks, I think. And it's just a whole ton of little bits and effects and little changes and little movements, and yeah, it's fucking chaos.
It's fucking difficult to do that shit, man. Yeah. I've tried dipping my hand in it just a little bit. I'm like, holy fuck, I gotta really fucking read on some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just learned it all off of just fucking with the programs over some years, but it like. I mean, I recommend trying it, but at the same time, man, going that deep into it is just like it hurts my head just trying to do it, and for how many hours it takes. Luckily, our second video that we just released, the Lord Death one, me and Joe had this idea. I think we had initially talked about it for the EP. But we didn't go through with it, was the doing the double playthrough, kind of him doing vocal singing and me doing guitar playing and mixing those camera shots or video shots in together. So we had discussed it for a while. It didn't happen. And then when we were talking about, after I finished the Scorched Earth video, Joe was like, let's do that. Let's do the playthrough type video. And so I was just more or less, hey, dude, send me as many, angles and videos as you can, and then I'll do the same on my end and just edit it together. And I thought the process was going to be really difficult. Like I kept telling him, I was like, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I mean, I'll get it done eventually, but it could be fucking a pain in my ass. And when he sent the stuff and then I recorded my stuff, I finished it in like 2 days or something. And I was like, oh my God, like, it was way easier than I thought, actually. And it came out way cooler than I thought. So that was a surprising opposite of maybe I've worked my skills up more than I assume, and I got really quick at doing some things. So
anybody listening to this, Bryan's available for video editing and video creating.
For $1 million. Every time I've had somebody ask me about doing a lyric video for them, when I give them a price, they just ghost me. So
I get that all the time. I get that all the time with fucking screen printing.
Yeah,
and give them a deal too.
I can only honestly give them a price for my time, which is
Yeah.
it's not a easy thing when it comes to time, and I'm not going to spend
No.
40 hours working on something for $100. So
Yeah, no, fuck that. No.
yeah,
People
it
don't
hasn't
realize
worked
like
out
we're
yet.
taking part of our time out.
Yeah, I haven't done a video for anybody else besides my project that I remember. Or no, wait, I did do one for my friend for his Death Witch project. Have you heard that band?
It
It's a good
sounds
buddy of
familiar.
mine. They just released their debut album on Moribund Records.
Okay.
And it's so interesting. Like it's like a kind of a lounge sounding black metal with this witchy chick singing,
Huh.
and
Okay.
they got violin and all kinds of stuff. It's super cool. Very unique, but he's a good friend of mine, and he helped me move. We kind of like trade in favors instead of money. So
Yeah.
I did a video for him, which wasn't super complicated, but he didn't want it to be that way. He was like, just some kind of simple still frames with a little movement and some text. And the chick sings in German, so
Wow.
it's just crazy. But
wow.
yeah, I did that for him as a favor, and I did his CD booklet. And then, he helped me move. He's built me like a work desk. He built me my CD shelves that I've posted about before. He does good woodworking. So yeah, that's the only way it's worked, at least with me and him, is like a bartering.
That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, what's the future
Hold on,
hold
hold
for Myth?
Oh.
No,
Sorry.
no, you want to cut me the fuck off, dude?
Yeah, you do it all to me all the time, so fuck you.
No, I don't, dude.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Anyways, there's a question that Chris had asked originally, but now I guess I'm taking it over. What was y'all's first band shirt?
I think my first band shirt in like high school, because I didn't really get into metal until high school. So I was a late bloomer, so to speak. I didn't really listen to a lot of music, and then once I did, it was like, oh shit. So it started with radio stuff, and it was either a Nine Inch Nails shirt or a Korn shirt that I had first. And I mean, I didn't really even. I was maybe a poser back then. I didn't really know their music super well. I maybe heard a song, and I was like, yeah.
Joe?
See, mine was actually a Rush shirt. I saw them
Ooh.
when I lived in Germany in '81.
Wow, hell yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
great show.
Always wanted to go check out Rush live, dude. Never got to.
Oh, amazing.
I bet. Oh yeah. YouTube will suffice.
Yeah. YouTube's great, man.
Oh yeah.
A lot of late nights lately, I just go down the YouTube rabbit hole and just like watch some live shows and whatever it suggests. If it's new stuff I haven't heard, I'll check it out. It just kind of like the domino effect of what comes next. Let me check this out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like really cool sometimes to just let it guide you into something and see what you find.
Yeah, that rabbit hole is dangerous, though. Keep you up for hours.
Yeah, I have been staying up too late lately. Now that I've been doing that.
Dude, same. And it's with stupid shit too, like video game cutscenes and shit.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. I like it. Chris?
Oh yeah, froze. There you go. Hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dave froze a little bit. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, we've been having a little bit of connection issues with Joe. I keep hearing some glitching.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does the future hold for y'all?
We had discussed the possibility of some live shows at some point, and we're kind of leaning on the fact that maybe we can land something big. So, because it will be a lot of effort getting some other musicians ready to play live, because we'll need another guitarist, we'll need a bass player, we'll need a drummer, and that's no easy task with the complicated nature of our music. So, me and Joe had some talks about it, and it's kind of like we're gonna shoot for some possible festivals or something, and see if the quality of our music can land us something bigger, and that will make it a more worthwhile investment to put that time in to get ready instead of just something like local. It's kind of the same thing initially we did with Scars of the Flesh, where it was just a studio project. We did an album, it got great response, and then we almost had a second album finished, and we had a friend inquiring about a show. We had no members, but it was with Vesperian Sorrow, which I've always admired that band. They just have a new album that came out that's fucking amazing if y'all haven't heard it. So when we got that offer, it was like, this might be the one that is worthwhile. And so we got some fill-ins to play that show with us, and it turned out amazing. And we pulled it off within a couple months. So I don't doubt that Mythologik could do the same if the offer's right. And if not, then we just have to keep pushing forward. And I definitely want this project to continue. I know Joe does as well. So regardless, whether that comes to fruition in the near future or later future, I think once I have time to get back to writing, we're going to grind on album 3 or album 2, actually, because the EP doesn't count.
Sure it does.
No, it was just the taste. Although it has some amazing songs on it, it doesn't count.
Sure it does. Yeah. It's a release. How about that? Just a release.
Yeah. Okay, third release, second album will be in the works soon enough. As soon as I have some time to decompress and let my mind wander again.
Oh yeah, man. Can't wait, dude. Excited to hear the rest.
What do you think about that, Joe? Does that sound right? Are you still there?
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah. Sounds great.
Oh yeah, boys. Well, is there anything else y'all want to add?
No, I mean, we had a great chat for a couple hours now, it seems. That flew by.
Yeah.
Right. Dave?
Yo.
You got anything else you want to
add? Nope. Nothing that nobody needs to know about.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about how I sold Bryan a fucking PS2 and now I got free albums for life, but nobody else needs to know about that.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
But that is true. Yeah. I was desperate for a replacement PS2, and Dave hooked me up, and he hooked me up good, and I will never forget that. So he has free albums for life. No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll look at what I have, dude, and I'll make a list of what I have so I can go over there and like cherry pick what I need.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And just let me know when you are wanting to do that, and we'll make a plan.
Fuck yeah.
Drink some beers and chill out.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, that was fun, dude. That was a good fucking podcast, dude. Guys,
yeah.
check them out on Instagram, on Facebook, Mythologik. Y'all on any other social medias?
No, just Facebook, Instagram. We got Bandcamp. Bandcamp's our home base for all the free listening and merch.
Yeah, so check them out on Band. Good, dude?
Yeah. No, I'm fucking following it right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, check them out. Check them out on their Bandcamp on Instagram and Facebook, and they'll be coming out soon with some new stuff, and hopefully we'll see them live pretty soon too as well.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brian, Joe, thanks again for joining us.
We appreciate
Great.
y'all having us, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank y'all again, man. Appreciate it. All right, until then, y'all stay ugly. Y'all stay fucking heavy.
Fuck yeah.